You open a new browser window, hit that Incognito button, and watch the little spy icon appear. You're invisible now, right? Anonymous? Protected from prying eyes? Today we're exposing one of the most widely believed myths on the internet, and what we found might make you rethink everything you thought you knew about private browsing. Here's a question. When you browse in incognito mode, who do you think can see what you're doing? If your answer is no one, you're not alone. You're also completely wrong. Your internet service provider, your employer, the websites you visit, and advertisers across the web can all see exactly what you're doing. Incognito doesn't stop any of them. The name itself is the problem. Incognito, private browsing, stealth mode. These names create an expectation of anonymity that the feature simply does not deliver. Let's start at the beginning. Google Chrome launched incognito mode back in 2008. Other browsers quickly followed with their own versions. Firefox's private browsing, Safari's private window, Edge's in private. The feature was genuinely useful. It prevented your browser from saving your history, cookies, and form data locally. Perfect for shopping for surprise gifts on a shared family computer. But somewhere along the way, millions of people started believing incognito mode did something much more powerful. They thought it made them invisible, untraceable, anonymous to everyone on the internet. This misconception has real consequences. People search for sensitive health information. They explore job opportunities at work. They look up personal matters believing no one will ever know. But here's what's actually happening behind the scenes. The moment you open that incognito window and type in a web address, your request travels through your internet service provider. Your ISP sees every single website you visit while in incognito mode. According to NordVPN's cybersecurity research, incognito provides zero protection from your internet service provider's logging systems. They know exactly which websites you visited, when you visited them, and how long you spent on each page. Incognito mode doesn't encrypt anything. It doesn't hide your traffic. And it gets worse. The websites you visit can still see your IP address. That's your unique digital fingerprint that identifies your approximate location and internet connection. When you visit a website in incognito mode, that site's servers log your IP address just like they would in regular browsing. They know you were there. The record exists. But your IP address is just the beginning. Here's something even more invasive called browser fingerprinting, and incognito mode is completely powerless against it. Browser fingerprinting is a tracking technique that identifies you based on dozens of unique characteristics of your device and browser: your screen resolution, your installed fonts, your operating system. According to Kaspersky's research, websites can identify users based on device and browser specifications even when incognito mode is active. Your fingerprint follows you across the web. These fingerprints are incredibly specific. Kaspersky notes that third parties can gather your location, browser type, operating system, device information, and more, all while you think you're hidden. Now here's where it gets really uncomfortable for a lot of people. If you're using your work computer or your employer's network, incognito mode is essentially theater. Your employer, school, or network administrator can track all your traffic while you're using incognito mode. Multiple cybersecurity sources confirm this. The network sees everything. That job search you did at lunch, your boss could potentially see it. Those medical questions you looked up, logged on the company firewall. Incognito protects you from your browser, not from your network. And there's another critical flaw that catches people off guard. The moment you log into any account while in incognito mode, you've essentially identified yourself. NordVPN's researchers confirm that if you log into a personal account while in incognito mode, you can still be tracked and your session linked directly to your identity. Think about it. You open incognito to browse privately, then immediately sign into Gmail, Facebook, or Amazon. Congratulations! You just connected all that browsing to your real identity. So, what exactly does incognito mode actually do? It's not useless. It's just severely misunderstood. Let's break down its real function. Incognito mode prevents your browser from saving your browsing history locally. When you close that window, the history disappears from your computer. That's the core feature. It also doesn't save cookies after you close the session. So websites can't use stored cookies to identify you on your next visit. But that protection ends when you close the window. This is genuinely useful. If you're shopping for a gift on a shared computer, Incognito prevents the history from appearing later. If you're logging into an account on a friend's laptop, it won't save your credentials. But here's what a lot of people miss. The protection only works on your local device. It does nothing, absolutely nothing, to hide your activity from the rest of the internet. As cybersecurity experts quoted by Bitdefender put it, incognito mode protects your privacy from other people who use your device, while a VPN keeps you anonymous from everybody on the internet. This brings us to the big question people always ask. What's the difference between incognito mode and a VPN? Because a lot of people confuse them or think they're interchangeable. They're not. A VPN, or virtual private network, encrypts your internet traffic and routes it through a secure server. This masks your real IP address and prevents your ISP from seeing which websites you visit. According to Security.org's analysis, a VPN provides actual privacy protection that incognito mode simply cannot offer. Incognito hides locally. A VPN encrypts the connection itself. Bitdefender's research explains that with a VPN, your internet service provider can only see that you're connected to a VPN server. They can't see the actual websites you're visiting or data you're transmitting. But here's an important caveat. VPNs aren't magic either. The VPN provider itself can potentially see your traffic unless they have a verified no-logging policy. You're trusting them instead of your ISP. This is why the Google lawsuit in 2020 was such a big deal. Users argued that Chrome's incognito mode description was deceptive, that it led them to believe they were truly anonymous. In 2024, Google agreed to settle by deleting billions of browsing records collected from users while they were in incognito mode. Think about that. Billions of records from people who thought they were private. Since then, Chrome has updated its incognito disclaimer to be clearer about the feature's limitations. But how many people actually read those disclaimers? Be honest with yourself. Chrome's updated warning now explicitly states that your activity might still be visible to websites you visit, your employer or school, and your internet service provider. It's right there in plain text. The core problem remains. The name incognito still sounds like invisibility. The word literally means having one's true identity concealed. That's not what this feature does. Surveys consistently show most internet users believe incognito or private browsing mode hides their activity from everyone. This belief persists despite the technical reality being well documented. So what should you actually do? First, use incognito mode for what it's actually good at, preventing local history storage. Shopping for surprise gifts on a shared computer? Perfect use case. Logging into your email on a friend's laptop? Incognito prevents your credentials from being saved. That's a legitimate privacy protection, just a local one. Second, understand that incognito does not protect you from your ISP, your employer, or the websites you visit. If you're doing something at work, assume your IT department can see it. Third, if you actually need to hide your browsing from your ISP, maybe you're researching sensitive topics or live somewhere with internet surveillance, use a reputable VPN service. For maximum protection, combine incognito mode with the VPN. Incognito prevents local storage. The VPN encrypts your connection. Together, they address different privacy concerns. And here's a critical one. Don't log into personal accounts while browsing in incognito if you want to remain anonymous. The moment you sign in, you've linked that session to your real identity. For truly anonymous browsing like researching controversial topics or protecting source communications, consider using Tor browser. It routes your traffic through multiple encrypted relays worldwide. Fair warning though, Tor significantly slows your connection. It's designed for anonymity, not convenience. But when you genuinely need to be untraceable, it's one of the strongest options available. So what's the verdict? Incognito mode isn't lying to you. It does exactly what it says in the fine print. The problem is that almost nobody reads the fine print. The myth persists because of marketing language and user expectations. Private browsing sounds comprehensive. Incognito sounds like a spy movie. Reality is far more mundane. The real question isn't whether incognito mode works. It does work for local privacy. The real question is whether the name and presentation give users an accurate understanding of its limitations. If this kind of internet myth-busting is helpful, Hit subscribe. We dig into claims like this every week, separating what's real from what just sounds good on social media. Here's the bottom line. Incognito mode is a useful tool with a misleading name. Use it when you want to hide your browsing from someone who might use your device later. Just don't fool yourself into thinking it makes you invisible online. Because while your browser might forget what you did, your ISP, your employer, and every website you visited definitely remember. I'm Internet Mythbusters. The internet lies to you every day, but not as much as you lie to yourself about understanding it. Stay curious, stay skeptical, and we'll see you next time.